Yo, what is up? So in this tutorial, we're going to be starting a little bit of a series. I wanted to do a series on how to create a horror game. Now, horror is one of my favorite genres when it comes to game dev, and I think it's probably one of the more reasonable types of games to make if you're a solo dev or if you're on like a small team, because they're actually fairly easy. I mean, it depends on the kind of mechanics you're trying to do in them. But for the most part, if you're doing like a standard indie horror game, I think they're not a bad idea to do, especially for learning, at least. Because generally the mechanics in a horror game aren't generally that overcomplicated. So that's what we're going to do in this one. We're going to start a little bit of a series on it. And the first thing we're going to do in this part is we're going to go and create the project, and we're going to get it set up with a master material that I've been building for a while. You can see some of that in the work here. And then some of the things we'll do later on in the series is things like door mechanics, interaction mechanics, objective systems, jump scares, level design, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, let's just get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do this in a first-person template. We're going to do a first-person because it's definitely going to be a lot easier if we do it in a first-person rather than a third-person. So, we're going to do a first-person project, and I'm just going to name this project to Horror Game Tutorial. And make sure you have starter content checked, and we're good to go. So, create. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to clear out a lot of this stuff in here because we just don't need it. This is going to be a bit of our playground for testing things, so we don't really need any of this stuff. I'm just going to clear this stuff out. Playground, all these cubes. Actually, we need those. We'll leave those. Simulated cubes. We can delete all of those. We can delete the rifle. And now we're just left with this big open area. And next thing we're going to do is we don't need our arms. We're not going to use arms in this. So we're going to go into our first person folder, blueprints, first person character. And we're just going to delete our arms. We don't need those. Now, a lot of horror games do use arms, but like a lot of indie horror games, they don't mess with arms. And that's just because you're going to have a lot easier of a time not trying to animate arms and stuff. I mean, if you're a solo dev and you're making like your first game ever, you're going to have a lot easier time just not trying to mess with that. I mean, you can do that if you want to. If you know how to do that, go for it. But we're not going to do that. We're going to try to keep it a little bit simple. So, yeah, we got that done. So the next thing we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to set up a master material. This is a material that I use on all my projects. I've been building it for a couple of months now. It's still not completely complete, but it is very much usable. So we're going to go into our first person folder, and we're going to make a new folder in here called materials. And then in here, we're going to go and we're going to make a material, and I'm going to name this m_master. And we're not going to build the material from scratch. I may do a tutorial on that later. But right now, what I do have is I have on Blueprint UE, I have all the stuff we need for the material set up in here. I'll share a link in the description for each of these, so you can just come and grab these, but I will show you how to set these up. So first thing we're going to use is this master material down here. We're going to grab this guy, and I'm going to go down here to code to copy, and I'm just going to copy. I'm going to right click. Can I just copy this? Will that select it all? Let's select all, and then we're going to. Did that copy it? Let's see if it copied it. Control V. It appears to have copied. So let's move this way back. We need to find our... Okay. So this guy got lost in the middle of this. So I'm just going to pull this guy way to the end. Right here at the switch. Right here. All this stuff right here, we can delete. We don't need this. We're not going to use any of this. So, what we need to do on this guy right here is we're going to click on it and we're going to use material attributes. So just click that. And we're going to plug this guy in right here. And as you can see, we get a bunch of errors, and that's because we have a bunch of material functions that are that don't copy over. Sadly, when you use Blueprint UE and you copy something with materials, and it's taking advantage of custom material functions, they do not copy over, which is what all of these other ones are. These are all the material functions we need to make this usable. So I am going to go ahead and... Well, we can't save, can we? Okay. Can we save? Let's see. Current material is the following... Yes. Yes, we'll save. Just in case we crash. Materials like to crash a lot, so... Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to close this guy out and we're going to make those material functions. So I'm going to make a new folder in our material folders called Material Functions. I'm going to open this guy up and we're going to copy over all these material functions. The first one is going to be this mf_camera calling. So I'm just going to go in here and we'll copy this guy, but I'm going to make the material function first. So in our folder here, we're going to go to the material tab right here. And we're going to make a material function, mf_, what was the name of it? MF camera calling. I'm just going to copy it and paste that name in there. And we're going to open this guy up. And then we're going to go back here and I'm going to copy to clipboard. We'll come back and paste this guy in. We don't need this output result. It just, copied it from the Blueprint UE. So let's plug this into our actual output result. And there we go. We got our first material function made. Let's just apply, save. And then our next one is going to be this MF Edgeware. So we're just going to copy this name here. We're going to go back to Unreal. We're going to make a new material function. We're going to paste that name in there. Open this guy up. And we're going to copy all of this. And we're going to come back. Paste this guy in. And we'll pull our output result back here. Plug it in. And delete the old one that we don't need. And now we'll just apply and save. We can close this guy out. And we need the next one, which is going to be MF Material Layer Lerp. So I'm just going to copy the name here. Then we're going to go back, go to the material, make a material function, paste that name in, open this guy up, and we're going to copy to clipboard, come back, paste this guy in, and replace our output result here. Plug this guy in, delete this one, don't need it, and then we're going to apply and save. And then what we're going to do is do the next one, which is MF Normal Intensity. We're going to open this one up. We're going to copy this guy right here. We're going to come back, make a material function, paste that name in, open this guy up. Then we're going to copy this guy to the clipboard, come back, paste it in, And we'll plug this RGB right here. Make sure you grab that RGB. And delete this guy. And there we go. We're going to apply and save. Then we're going to go back and get the next one, which is MF Random UV Offset. We're going to grab this guy. And let's copy the name right here. And we'll go to the material, make a material function, paste that name in, open this guy up. And copy to clipboard. Come back. Paste that guy in. Now here it looks like we do have two outputs, so I'm just going to replace this with the first one. Delete that one right there, and we'll move this one down. And just plug that in right there. Okay, so now we're just going to apply and save. Close this guy. Then we'll go back. Now we just got two more, so next one is MF Scale Normal Map. We're going to copy this name here. And then we're going to make a new material function. Paste that name in. Open this guy up. And copy this to the clipboard. And paste this guy in. And we'll plug in our output. Delete the old one right here. Looks like we have an error. We need a texture sample. So the texture sample here, let's see if we have a normal... Let's see. T brick clay bevel in. We'll just put that there for now. That's just a kind of a placeholder for now. So we'll close that guy down. Just to kind of reiterate on that, you can throw any normal map into this texture sample right here. It doesn't matter. You just need some kind of placeholder. So we'll just close that guy down. Let's go back. The next one is going to be MF Subsurface Scattering. So we'll copy this name right here. We'll go back, make a new material function, paste that name in, open this guy up, and we will copy to clipboard, paste this guy in, and replace our output results. And that should be good. Now we just have to get these material functions in their proper place inside the master material. So I'm going to open my other project that has it completed so I can speed up the process and figure out where they go. So let's do that. Alright, so the first one we need is right here. We need MF camera culling. So we're going to go to our project. We're going to go into materials, master material. And we need to find our MF camera culling material function. Try to make this so we can see. So right here, MF camera culling, plug this guy in here. And then you can see we have in distance fade offset. So we're going to grab this guy right here, plug that one in distance length right here, plug that guy in, and plug that guy in. And let's just make sure that's right. Yeah. Yep. So we can delete this old material function that is here. And we're just going to do a save. And then we're going to move on to the next one. Let's find this error. Where is this next error? On normal. So let's go find our normal. Yeah, so let's also... Something you're going to have to do is put some placeholder textures in here. So I'm just going to put this T-brick normal in there. Yeah, so all of these samples will need a placeholder. This one already has a default placeholder. And right here on our normal, we need to fill in, let's see what it is. Pretty sure it's just normal intensity, but let's make sure. Yeah, so normal intensity, we need to put those in. So let's find our normal intensity right here. Pull that guy in. And we'll pull in intensity amount, normal intensity right here from the scaler. And then we'll pull in our sample right here. And I'm just going to duplicate, Control C, Control V that guy. Let me check where that sample is coming from in this other one. From the XYZ, okay. So from our XYZ right here, we're going to use that as the sample. And the intensity from this normal intensity right here. We can delete both of these old material functions. And let me make sure, I'm pretty sure this goes in true. Actually, let me check. Enable world alignment if it is true. Actually, I'm pretty sure this one's true. This one's false. But let me make sure. Yes, that is correct. So, now I'm just gonna copy these two material functions because we need to put it on all of these normals right here. So paste those guys in. Delete the old ones right here. And then, so for this, we'll put our sample in right here. Normal intensity. XYZ texture goes into the sample here. And normal intensity from here. Plug that guy in. And this result will go into true. This result will go into false. And while we're here, let's go ahead and put in a placeholder normal map right there. And all of those placeholders should be good. And we got to do this one more time. So I'm going to copy these right here. Paste these in right here. And we'll delete the old ones. And we'll put our sample into this sample. We'll plug our intensity in right here. XYZ goes into the sample of this one. And then we'll plug that intensity in right here. This result goes into the true. This result goes into the false. And we will go ahead and put a placeholder normal map in here. Like that. Let's go ahead and do a save. Alright, so next on our roughness, we need a roughness placeholder. So, let's see if we have any. I don't think we do. So, what we can do for now is let's go to the Fab website and let's download a texture so we can get some placeholders. So, if you go to the Fab website, you can go to the Megascans. If you haven't done this already, you definitely should. Set up your Megascans and grab all of these while you can. We're just going to grab a placeholder for now. I'm going to download this guy, this stone wall. It doesn't really matter. It's a placeholder. So just download this guy. I'm going to download it at 2K. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and make a new folder over here for Megascans. I'm going to call it Fab Mega Scans. And I'm going to open this guy. And go to my downloads. And bring in this guy over here. And I'm going to extract it. Extract that guy. We don't need the compressed folder anymore. Alright, so this should give us most of what we need for our placeholders. So, I'm just gonna go into our content folder here. We're gonna make a new folder called Mega Scans. And in our Mega Scans folder, I'm gonna make a new folder called, let's just call it brick, because that's a brick wall texture. And in here, I'm gonna bring in, can I bring the entire folder in? Let's see. No. So let's bring them. Oh, well, I guess it worked. Okay, well, that works. They were all brought in. Let's go back into our master material here and find our roughness. So now we just need to replace our roughness here. So roughness, just plug a roughness in there. Same with this one right here, it needs a roughness. And same right here, it needs a roughness. So save, continue. Let's also check that roughness, because it needs to be a mask. So let's check that it is. So we're going to open this guy. It is not. So we're going to make this a mask. The reason this needs to be a mask is if you look on our material, if we click this guy, you can see we have sampler type set as mask. So they need to match or you'll get errors. Okay. So next, we need to do our... I'm going to get the master material back open. Material, master... Okay, we don't need that yet. So next is our ambient occlusion. So we need a AO, Stonewall AO right here. And while we're here, we can double click this texture. This also needs to be a mask. So set the compression setting to mask. We'll just close that guy. And then we'll set that as our placeholders for now. So on all three of these that say AO next to them in the comment. The next will be our displacement. So let's find a Stonewall displacement. We'll make this our placeholder. This also, I believe it does need to be a mask. So let me just double check that real quick. Over here, displacement, mask, yes. So yeah, this needs to be masked. And it looks like these weren't... Okay, let me just make sure these are all masked. This one is not. Make sure this is a mask. Just go through. Make sure all of these are masks that need to be a mask. Mask. Normal. Normal. Make sure all of these are correct. Okay. Those are. So that should be good for all of those. Displacement is good. Alright, let's fill in our displacement. Displacement. And that switched to color. Go into your displacement texture and change this to mask. And then change this guy back to mask. And now we'll go to this next one. Mask. Or not mask. Displacement. And then we will save. Continue. Alright, next is metallic. So let's find, do we have a metallic? We may not. We gotta have a metallic somewhere in here. Let's check our mega scan and see. It's a brick texture, so I doubt we have a metallic, but maybe it gave us one. It looks like it did not. So let's go to our starter content and look for something that might be a metallic map. Concrete tiles M. This is a metallic map. I'm gonna change this to a masks. So that is the T concrete tiles underscore M. So now we can go back into our material, master material here. Hold on, wrong project. Let me go back here. Tiles underscore M. So materials, master, and then right here, tiles underscore M. We will use this as a placeholder for now. And I'm just gonna hit the search guy right here, and then come down here, and you can hit this arrow right here, and it'll fill it in. It's a little bit faster. We just hit the arrow right here, fills that in. An imperfection. So this one is going to be a little bit different. We're going to have to go download something for this one. So let's go back to Fab. And let's find us an imperfection. Might need to search. Imperfection. Ooh, do they not have imperfections? They might not have all the products on here yet. So yeah, we may just not be able to do imperfections for now, and I'm sure the Fab is brand new, so this is, I'm sure, being super updated. Let me actually go back here, make sure they don't have any kind of imperfections set up here. Search here, imperfection. Okay, so no imperfections yet. Those are coming, I'm sure. They're pretty useful. So in that case, we'll run through it and make sure we don't get any errors. We just might not be able to use imperfections for now. Imperfection color, we don't need to do anything here. And emissive. So emissive, let me check this texture here. Make sure I'm on the right project. So it looks like we should be good on emissive. Don't have to do anything there. And specular. Looks like we're good on specular. Don't have to do anything there. But now we still have to replace some material functions. Let me just check these. Okay, so this right here. This is going to be... See, what this section is, these are our packed maps. So, we're not going to be able to use packed maps, at least for now, because Fab doesn't appear to give you a way to pack your textures like the Bridge app did. This is super useful. Whenever they do add it, we'll go over this. But for now, it's looking like we won't be able to use these. So, in our let's find it, roughness. So it says right here, use ARH. This is pretty much an ORD. So the default value is set to true. We're going to set this to false by default since we can't use packed maps. We're going to set all of these to false right here. Use ARH, false by default. That's false by default. Just go and make sure that all of these are set to false. Use MSE, this is also a packed map, so we're going to set this guy to false by default. Set all of these guys to false as well. And as you can see, that brought a lot of our errors down. We're almost done. Just make sure we don't have anything else hiding from us. Okay, so now we still have a few material functions somewhere around here we need to fix. Let's go right here. Random UV offset. Yes, we need to bring our random UV offset material function here. Let me just double check on my other material and make sure that's exactly what's going on right here. Yeah, random UV offset. So right here, we need to go back to our materials, material functions, and bring in our random UV offset. And this multiply is going to go into both of these inputs right here. And let me just double check what the other one is doing. This result is going into true. This output is going into this true. So let's do that. This is going into this true. And this result is going into this true. Just make sure those are the correct results. Results, output v3. Okay. So let's delete that guy right there. And we appear to be just about there. Let's do a save. We don't have any errors. I just want to make sure everything's good. Yeah, see, we still need to do it right here. Yes. So let's copy and paste this guy into these places as well. So this will go into the inputs. This result will go into this true. This result will go into that true. Delete that guy. And then we're going to paste this guy in down here on the next UV manipulation. Plug these guys in. And plug that into that true. Plug this guy into that true. Delete that right there. And let's just keep going. Make sure we're good. Make sure I don't have anything I'm missing back this way. And I believe we're good. Let's check this brick. Let's throw our brick on here. Stone wall brick. I'm trying to figure out why exactly this material is white right now. Bounding color. Alright, we can do a little test. So let's go to our let's go to our material, create a material instance. And we're going to test the material. So right click on your material and create a material instance and it'll give you this guy. Let's throw this guy on something. And I just want to see why our material is white right now. Let's enable world alignment. So right here at the top, enable world alignment. You take this guy and this guy. And you can see that is no longer stretched like it was. But I'm trying to figure out why our material is white. So if you look here in our material instance, it's yelling about our emissive, so we actually need to go back and make our emissive Right now we have it set as a mask. Let's make this a color. Let's change this back to color and color. And then we will apply and save. Oh, I found some issues here. Okay, so we do have another material function. So if you scroll way up, we have our edgeware that we need to set up here. So if we go back to our material functions, we bring our MF edgeware in. And now we just gotta plug all of these into the right spot. So edgeware strength needs to go into edgeware strength. Edgeware tint needs to go into edgeware tint. Edgeware fall off needs to go into edgeware fall off. Albedo needs to go into the albedo. Edgeware contrast needs to go into edgeware contrast. Use edgeware needs to go into use edgeware. Edgeware intensity needs to go into edgeware intensity. And edgeware saturation needs to go into edgeware saturation. And then this is the normal. We need to plug this guy into the normal. And then we'll plug this result into this guy right here. And that fixed our color. That was the issue. So apply. And save. And now we need to do that 2 more times. So let's copy this and paste it down here. And we need to fill in all of this stuff again. So strength goes into edgeware strength. Edgeware tint needs to go into edgeware tint. Edgeware fall off needs to go into edgeware fall off. Albedo needs to go into the albedo. Edgeware contrast 2 needs to go into edgeware contrast. Use edgeware needs to go into use edgeware. Edgeware intensity needs to go into edgeware intensity. Edgeware saturation needs to go into the edgeware saturation, and the normal right here needs to go into the normal. Then plug this guy into the result. Apply and save. And now we just got to do that 1 more time. So paste this guy in. And delete the old one. And we'll plug our strength into the strength, our tint into the edgeware tint, our fall off into the edgeware fall off, our albedo into the albedo, our contrast into the contrast, our use edgeware into the use edgeware, our edgeware intensity into the edgeware intensity, edgeware saturation into the saturation, and then finally the normal. And plug in the result. And I believe that is everything for the material. Now I know this is kind of overly complicated. This is a big material with a lot of parts to it. But yeah, if you get through this, the rest of the series should be pretty easy. And honestly, you don't have to do this part if you don't want to set up this material. You can just, do materials however you've been doing it, but this is going to be something that will be useful to you for a long time. Like I moved this material around all over the place and put it in all my projects. It's very useful. I'll show you some of the cool things that we can do with it real quick, and then that'll be it for the video. So we got this brick wall up here. So some of the cool things we could do if you open up your material instance. So the first thing I already did earlier, enable world alignment. If we untick this, you see how it's stretched? So like, it's stretched like that. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that, where like, you throw a material on something and then you scale the object and it stretches the material. So that's what this does. It fixes that kind of a situation. So you enable world alignment and you don't get any kind of stretching. It fixes that kind of stuff. And we'll wait on the save here. Something else that's pretty cool. I can show you the use edgeware real quick. So if we take this guy on, we can, let's go down to our edgeware section. So if we look at our edgeware contrast, edgeware intensity, we can plug this guy way up. We can play with some other cool things with it. Like we could change, I mean, it's edgeware, so it runs along the normals and basically affects the normals of objects. And you can make it do some cool things. This is really good for like, kind of like, I mean, it says in the name, it's like an edgeware. You can basically like, you know, create some edge imperfections. Or just some other cool effects, you know? And, yeah, that's what that guy does. So I'm just gonna take that guy off. We also have RVT. I'm not gonna go into that right now, but that's Runtime Virtual Textures, which is basically where, say you have, like, a landscape, and you want the landscape material to blend in with the object. That's basically what that does. Let me close that stuff down. We don't need it anymore. We have Vertex Paint. Vertex Paint is really cool. Let's see if I can remember how to use it. I haven't used it in a minute. So if you use Vertex Paint, basically what that means is, I'm not going to go too in depth with it. I might show it later, but basically what that does is you can paint other textures on top of meshes. So like say if you wanted to paint some moss across this, you could do that. And you can turn things into an emissive, so we can make our wall emissive if we want, and we can make our let's see, should be able to make it emissive. Emissive texture, let's see, use emissive. There should be a use emissive map. Let's turn that off. Yeah, see, now our wall is an emissive wall. So we can blend some, you can do some cool things with that. Blend some light into it. So we're just gonna untick that guy. And yeah, I mean, there's tons of cool things in here. I'll do a full rundown on everything you can do with it, but there's a lot of cool things with it. You can obviously play around with a lot of the settings in there and see what you like out of it, but it's very cool, it's very useful, and yeah. So for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw on these bricks on these walls. And I actually don't quite like that color or tiling, so let's go into our albedo tint here. I'm going to make this a bit darker. And I'm going to change the tiling a bit. So if we go to tiling, we could change the tiling of our bricks here. I'm just going to bring it down to there. Something about like that. Maybe a little smaller. Yeah. And then something else I'm going to do. So if we go into variation, we can go into the variation color. And I'm going to make this guy a bit darker and bring the intensity down a bit. We can also change the tiling of this macro. So it's a macro variation, which basically just... the idea behind it is that it will kill repetition. Like repetition in textures that you see a lot. So, yeah, that's kind of what that's for. But yeah, I think that's good for now. Hopefully you got this thing set up. If you have any issues with it, definitely let me know, and I'll try to help you as best as I can. But we're gonna call it here for this one. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you're new around here, definitely subscribe. If you have any questions, any issues like that, let me know in the comments. If you have any tutorials you would like to see, let me know that as well. If you have any systems you'd like to see in this series, also let me know that all down in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.